the minister's turn to speak, I believe, is the plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my deepest honor to, on behalf of the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam, to welcome you all to the welcome dinner of the 12th South China Sea International Conference. To begin our evening, I would like to invite Dr. Phạm Lan Dung, Acting President of the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam, to deliver a welcoming remarks. Dr. Phạm Lan Dung.
Xin mời tiến sĩ Phạm Lan Dung.
Excellency ambassadors, representative from the diplomatic corps, distinguished panelists, moderators, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It's really a great honor to me to welcome you to tonight's welcome dinner to celebrate our gathering at the South China Sea International Conference, especially to thank you for your companion on our journey in search for lasting peace, stability, and prosperity in the South China Sea. We are deeply indebted to many of our long-time friends who have been studying maritime issues and watching the South China Sea in almost all of their careers, accompanying us and supporting us since our first inception of the conference in 2009. We are deeply grateful for many new partners who lended support to our cause. We regret however, that many of our friends and partners are not able to be here tonight due to the COVID-19. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we believe open, transparent, inclusive, candid, and frank dialogues can help narrow gaps between people and nations, can promote mutual understanding, tolerance, and mutual trust. Through the past 12 years, we've been working to promote such a spirit of dialogue on the South China Sea. I was deeply heartened to feel such spirit in dialogue in the conference room throughout the 4 sessions today. I truly believe with your support, with such spirit of constructive dialogue, we will be able to build a South China Sea of connectivity and cooperation instead of competition and confrontation. So let me propose a toast for your health, for our friendship, for connectivity and cooperation in the South China Sea, for peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. Please.
Xin mời
Cheers.
quý vị cùng nâng ly. Chiều nay Hà Nội mình phải đến set up từ mấy giờ? Từ chiều luôn à? Vâng. Các biết này có phải làm cho hội thảo không? Hay là hội thảo tự làm chứ không cần dịch? Bây giờ làm. Ở trong hội thảo nó cũng phải dùng cái biên dịch đúng không? Tôi hỏi hết rồi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Phạm Lan Dung, for your remarks. Now I have the great honor to invite Ambassador Giorgio Aliberti, head of the EU delegation to Vietnam, to deliver his remarks.
Có đôi lời chia sẻ.
Dear Dr. Phạm Lan Dung, Acting President of the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure for me to be here tonight after this first very intensive day of work and exchanges in the framework of this 12th conference, international conference on the South China Sea. I think there is no need to remind the importance of this event as becoming a really milestone. Now it's 12 consecutive years that it has been taking place, and we are very happy that the EU is co-sponsoring for the second time. And I think over the years, this conference has established a very solid reputation, not only in Vietnam, but also in the region among scholars, practitioners, decision makers, and diplomats. I think it's one of the key moments of the year when we talk about this very important issue. And the topic, of course, is not new. I mean, unfortunately, we have been discussing about it for years and years, but I think by the day it becomes more and more relevant, I think, to all of us. And it seems that now there have been quite a number of incidents, so we're kind of getting used to it. And it seems that the prevailing rule is becoming might makes right. On this last point, I want to be very, very clear, because as the ambassador of the European Union to Vietnam, I can just reiterate to all our Vietnamese friends and partners that the European Union will never abide by this rule. We're not going to accept it. Our position is very clear, has been repeatedly, constantly reaffirmed over the years, and recently also by the High Representative, Vice President Josep Borrell, during an Asian EU Ministerial Conference in September. Let me quote, "We cannot allow countries to unilaterally undermine international law and maritime security in the South China Sea, thereby representing a serious threat to the peaceful development of the region," unquote. And, you know, the motives of this engagement of the European Union towards peace and stability in the region are clear, and they're twofold, basically. One is the economic, and the other one is strategic. On the economic side, we all know that the trade flows passing through the sea are very relevant to all the world and to the EU also in particular. For us, it's about 40% of EU foreign trade is passing through the Straits of Malacca. And of course, the free sea lines of communication are essential also for our economic development, for our trade. And this is particularly relevant, as you all know, that this year is an important year for the EU and Vietnam with entering into force of the EVFTA. And strategic. Let's consider the strategic perspective. We do have strategic stakes in the region, of course, not as a contender in the sea. We are not closely from a geographic perspective, but we are defender of rule-based order, which is valid all over the world. And I think that something that can happen here, we all know that can have important repercussions somewhere else. So we really believe it's very important. We don't want to create precedents. We don't want to accept a fait accompli by some actors. This could be easily replicated some other places in the world, like the Arctic Sea, the Azov Sea, or many other places. So I think it's a very important principle, and we stick to it. And if you look at the last 3 years, I think you can really see that the European Union, its member states, have been stepping up their engagement in the region. First, in May 2018, there had been a decision in the Council in Europe saying enhance security cooperation in and with Asia that allowed new forms of cooperation or different kind of cooperation and with a number of strategic partners in Asia, including Vietnam. And this was a new initiative, basically, that encompassed a different kind of activities related to maritime security, cybersecurity, fights against terrorism, against hybrid threats, conflict prevention, and all a number of activities which are very relevant, I think, to this day. At the same time, we tried the Council, so the maximum level of European decision makers, decided to have some tailor-made cooperation grouping a number of Asian countries, the priority countries, and Vietnam was among this one. And this, for Vietnam, brought a very important development, which was the signature of a framework participation agreement last year. And with this agreement, actually, Vietnam can participate to European Union security and defense missions, so which is something very new, and we're trying to make it operational in the near future.
và trên thế giới.
At the same time, you made available new funding, so new initiatives. On your maritime security, now we have 3 different initiatives. So it's a good opportunity for us in the next few months. We're trying to make this operational. And there are quite a number of possibilities that we think that are going to be very important and interesting, I think, for Vietnam.
Và tôi nghĩ rằng những dự án
And
này có rất nhiều tiềm năng
starting
rất
from
thú vị
maritime
của Việt
domain
Nam.
awareness, so something very
Đầu tiên là
specific
tăng
and
cường nhận
very
thức về
interesting, I
những vấn
think,
đề
in
hàng
terms of
hải,
information exchange
chia sẻ
and
thông tin,
analysis, management of incidents,
và xử
trying
lý sự
to
cố,
strengthen international cooperation,
tăng cường hợp
investigation,
tác.
judicial matters. So there's something very
Và đây
concrete.
là những cái vấn đề rất
But
là
I
cụ
think
thể.
that we have to be concrete when we
Và tôi nghĩ
want
rằng chúng ta
to
phải
help
cụ thể
in a very concrete
thì
way.
mới có
And
thể
we
có
have,
được
of
đầu
course,
ra
a
cụ
number
thể.
of confidence building measures.
Và cũng có
And at
một
the
số
same
biện pháp
time,
xây
the
dựng
EU
lòng
is
tin.
trying also
Đồng
to
thời,
improve its
thì
presence
chúng
by
tôi
deploying
cũng
military
muốn
advisors
là có
in a
tăng cường
number
sự hiện diện
of
trong khu vực bằng
delegation
cách cử
in
các
the
cố
region in
vấn
Asia.
quân
And
sự
so the idea
ở
is
nhiều
to try
quốc
to
gia châu
play
Á.
a more
Và hy
relevant
vọng
role
như
in
vậy
terms
giúp chúng
also
tôi có
of
thể đóng góp
hard
một cái vai trò
security.
rõ ràng hơn
And
về
there is
vấn đề
a
an ninh
new
trật tự.
operational concept that has been developed,
Và chúng tôi
which
cũng
is
đang phát
called
hành
the
đang
Coordinating
phát triển
Maritime
một
Presence,
khái niệm
which is basically a coordination of
CMP,
activity of different
là
navies,
hiện diện
European navies.
hàng hải được điều phối.
It's an embryonic stage right now, and we are working, starting with the Gulf of Guinea. But in the future, it could be extended to other areas and maybe possibly also to this part of
Và
the
hy vọng có
world.
thể mở rộng quy mô hoạt động.
And at
trong
the
tương
same
lai.
time, these initiatives go hand in hand
Và
with
sáng kiến
other
này cũng gắn
initiatives
liền với
developed
những
by
cái
member
sáng kiến
states
khác
of the European Union,
cùng
and the
với các quốc gia
concept, for
trong khu
instance,
vực
of Indo-Pacific is becoming
như là các cái
more and
chiến
more
lược
relevant.
giữa Bình
There have
Dương đang
been
ngày càng
a
đóng vai trò
German
quan trọng
paper,
hơn.
a French strategy. Other countries are thinking about it. So also from a theoretical perspective, there's more attention to it, to this concept,
Thì khái
and
niệm
it's
này cũng
complemented by
đang
increasing presence
ngày
also in
càng
the
thu hút sự
water.
chú ý lớn.
And Navy exercise and POCOs are planned also by a
Chúng
number
tôi cũng có
of
những
member
cái
states
hoạt
also
động
for
tập
next
trận hải
year.
quân hay là thăm cảng.
So this is to say, to tell you that the
với các
European
cái
Union
quốc gia
member
thành viên
states are
ASEAN
fully
trong năm tới.
committed
Và như vậy
to
thì
a rule-based order.
các quốc gia
So
thành
these are
viên
all
cũng như là
elements which
toàn
fit
khối EU cũng
in
rất
this
là cam kết
framework.
hướng tới một
We
trật tự
refrain.
hợp lệ khi
I
mà
mean,
tất cả các bên liên quan
believe that all
đều cần phải
parties
kiềm
should
chế
refrain
sử dụng
from
vũ lực
the threat or the use of force.
hay là đe
This
dọa
is
sử dụng
clearly
vũ lực
unacceptable. Also, militarization
và
of maritime
tránh
features
quân
are
sự
not
hóa các cái
acceptable,
thực thể trên
such
hàng
as
hải
also like provocative
và
actions
những cái hành
of
động
any
gây hấn nói
kind.
chung.
And we believe in general
Chúng tôi
terms of a
tin
peaceful
để giải
settlement of
quyết tranh chấp
disputes,
dựa
of
trên các biện
course,
pháp
and
hòa
we
bình
stick with the principle
và
clearly enshrined by the UN
tuân theo những
Convention
cái
of the
nguyên
Law
tắc
of the Sea.
trong UNCLOS.
And we are very aware, of course, that there are
Tuy nhiên,
discussions
chúng
going
tôi
on
cũng
with ASEAN in
nhận thức rất
terms
là rõ
of
những
trying to
cái
define
đàm phán
a
với
comprehensive, legally
ASEAN
binding code of conduct.
về cái bộ
And
COC
we have to
và
be
định danh
clear.
pháp
I think
lý
the
và cái trách
content
nhiệm
is
quả.
what is more relevant, not so much the timing
Và tôi
of
nghĩ
the
là
agreement. We think that better
cái
agreement
vấn đề ở
needs
đây
probably
không phải
more
là thời
time.
gian
So
mà vấn đề ở đây
I
là
think
hiệu quả.
you have to get all the time which is needed. Important is the negotiation have to be
Không nhất thiết
conducted
là phải tìm cách
in
để
a
hoàn
fair,
thành
in a
cái
balanced manner,
COC sớm và
which
quan trọng hơn
will
là
take
phải dành
into
đủ thời
account
gian
all the
để
interests
hướng
of the
tới một bộ
stakeholders.
COC
Without
công
this, I
bằng
think
cho
it's
các bên
better
liên
to
quan.
have no real code. I think you have a good law is much better, but no law can be preferred if you have a bad law. So I think it's important to
Tất
take
nhiên
the
là
necessary
vì vậy tôi
time.
mới
So
nói
in
rằng là tất
conclusion,
nhiên là nếu không có
in
luật
quote
lệ
you
thì nó rất
also
là tệ,
a
nhưng mà
keynote
phải
speech
có luật lệ
that
tốt
was
thì nó mới có
delivered
thể hiệu
today,
quả được.
earlier today by Rear Admiral Jürgen Hele, who's
Xin được
a senior military
trích lại lời
advisor
của
at the
Ngài Trần Đô
External
đốc
Action
Jürgen
Service
Hele,
in Brussels.
cố
The
vấn
EU is
quốc phòng
projecting its
của
role as
quân sự cấp
security
cao
provider more and more in the Asia Pacific as a predictable and reliable
EU
partner.
đang dần
It's
dần
very clear
tăng
that
cường sự hiện
we
diện
don't
trong
have
châu Á Thái Bình
any
Dương là
hidden
một đối
agenda,
tác
no other agenda,
đáng tin cậy.
but I
Chúng tôi
think we
hoàn
have
toàn
just a
những
very
ý tưởng,
open
ý định
agenda
của chúng
just
tôi là hoàn
for
toàn
the
công
good and
khai
for
minh bạch
peaceful settlement
như
of
tôi đã
disputes.
trình bày.
I'll stop there. Many thanks for your
Xin
attention,
được,
and I
cảm
appreciate
ơn
very
quý vị.
fruitful discussion in this
Và hy
day.
vọng
I'm looking
chúng
forward
ta,
to receiving also the
sẽ tiếp tục
conclusion
có những
of
cuộc
your
thảo luận
work
rất là hiệu
tomorrow. Thank
quả
you so much.
trong ngày tới. Xin cảm ơn.
Well, thank you very much, Excellency Ambassador Giorgio Alibetti, for your excellent remarks. And now, we come to a special guest of tonight's event. We are very pleased and thankful that the Honorable Harjit Sajjan, Minister of National
Bộ trưởng Quốc phòng
National Defense of
của
Canada,
Canada
that he is able to join us
đã vậy tham
tonight.
gia buổi chiêu đãi của
Minister
chúng ta ngày hôm
Sajjan,
nay.
can you hear us well?
Sajjan, ngài có nghe thấy
Yes, I
chúng ta?
can.
Vâng, tôi nghe
Well,
rất rõ.
on behalf of the organizer of the conference, we would like to express our grateful
Tôi xin gửi lời
to
cảm
you
ơn tới ngài
for being able to join us
đã
tonight.
dành thời gian
The
tham
floor is
dự
yours,
vào
Minister.
buổi chiêu đãi của chúng tôi ngày
Great.
hôm nay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Vâng,
And
rất vui được có mặt ở
good
đây với
evening,
quý vị và
everyone. I'm
xin
pleased to
kính
join
chào
you
tất
for
cả
this
quý vị.
dinner, even if it is
Như đã
only
nói, tôi
virtually.
rất vui mừng được dự buổi
Though
tối
it is
nay
morning here in
với
Ottawa,
trực tuyến.
it's important
Thực
for
ra
us
bây
to
giờ
come
Ottawa
together
đang là
in a
buổi
spirit
sáng,
of
nhưng
friendship,
dù là giờ giấc thế nào,
cooperation,
chúng ta cũng
and
cần phải hợp
partnership,
tác cùng
no
nhau,
matter the hour.
ngồi lại với nhau trên tinh thần hữu
The
nghị,
global
hợp tác
pandemic
và
has
đối thoại.
added a new layer of
Và
complexity
đặc biệt
to
là
an
đại dịch năm
already
nay
challenging
lại
global
gây ra những cái
environment.
bối cảnh còn thách thức
It is
hơn nữa
why this
trong
year
môi trường an ninh chính trị.
underscores the need for us to collaborate, to
Và
keep
nhấn
our
mạnh
nation safe
nhu
and
cầu cấp thiết
secure
phải hợp tác
while
để giữ
protecting
cho đất
human
nước an
rights
toàn,
around the world.
an ninh và bảo vệ quyền con người trên
It is
khắp
why
thế giới.
this year, sorry, one sec here. And though we are focused on helping our people to make it through the pandemic,
Bảo vệ
our
cho người
security
dân và vượt
and
qua
other
đại
security
dịch.
challenges, we cannot ignore
Nhưng
climate
thách thức
change,
và những một
which
số
has
những cái
contributed
thách
to
an ninh
more
khác, chúng ta cũng
extreme
không thể
weather
nào bỏ qua
events
được những
and
vấn đề
natural
biến đổi khí hậu
disasters.
đang gây ra những hiện tượng thời tiết cực
No
đoan, thiên
nation
tai ngày
or
càng nhiều hơn.
people are immune from the
Không một quốc
destructive
gia
force.
nào hay là bất cứ một
And I
cá
want
nhân
to
nào
offer my
có
sincere
thể
condolences to the
tránh
people of
được
Vietnam
cái vấn
who'd
đề
lost
này trên
loved
đường
ones
chia buồn
as a
sâu sắc
result of the
với
worst
nhân dân Việt
typhoon
Nam,
season
những người
in
đã mất đi người
decades.
thân do hậu quả
We
của
mourn
đợt
with
dịch
you
nhất
the
trong
tragic
nhiều năm vừa
loss
qua.
of Vietnamese
Chúng
civilians
tôi xin bày tỏ
and
niềm
military
tiếc thương của
personnel
các bạn
in the
trước sự mất
resulting
mát lớn
landslides.
lao của người dân
And as
và
Typhoon
quân đội do
Bamako
sạt lở
bears
đất.
down, I want to extend my condolences
Trong những hoàn
to our
cảnh như này,
Filipino friends for the loss of
chúng tôi cũng
life
xin gửi
they
lời
have
chia buồn tới
experienced
Philippines
and hope for the safety for those impacted
do
in
cơn bão
Vietnam.
gần đây và
In situations like these,
những người đã
Canada
chịu
will
ảnh hưởng
always
của
help
Việt Nam.
our
Trong
friends
những
in
hoàn
need.
cảnh như vậy, chúng tôi
We
luôn
know
luôn
that
giúp
today's
sẵn sàng hỗ
challenges
trợ các bạn
demand an
trong
unprecedented
hoạn nạn.
level of
Đây là
international
những thách thức ngày nay đòi
cooperation
hỏi
and
mức độ
unity.
hợp tác và đoàn kết quốc
That is
tế
why
cao hơn
Canada
bao
is
giờ hết.
committed to working
Vì
with
vậy,
our allies
Canada
and
sẵn sàng
partners
hợp
in
tác
the
với các
Indo-Pacific.
đối tác và
And
đồng
it's my
minh
honor to be
trong
here
khu vực.
with so many
Tôi rất là vinh
distinguished
dự,
guests
tôi vinh dự
and
có mặt
friends
ở đây cùng với nhiều khách
from
quý và quan
our
chức cao
partners
cấp
and
của
allies
các
in
nước
the
đồng
region,
minh và đối tác,
including Dr.
bao gồm tiến sĩ
Ledzung
Phạm
and
Lan
His
Dương
Excellency
và đại
Ambassador
sứ
Alberti.
EU Giorgio
I want to
Aliberti.
thank the Diplomatic
Tôi
Academy
xin cảm ơn
of
Học viện Ngoại giao
Vietnam,
Việt Nam,
the Vietnam Lawyers
Hội luật gia Việt
Association,
Nam
and the
và
Foundation
Quỹ
for
nghiên cứu
EC
Biển Đông
Studies for organizing this
về
important
tổ chức
conference
hội thảo thường niên rất là quan trọng này
today, and for inviting me to speak
và
with you
về
tonight on the
việc mời
importance of
tôi
the
phát biểu
Indo-Pacific
về tầm
that is
quan
not
trọng
only
của Ấn Độ
important to
Dương và
Canada,
Thái Bình Dương,
but for also for
không chỉ
global
với
peace
chúng
and
tôi
security.
mà còn về an
As a
ninh,
Pacific
an
nation,
ninh và hòa bình trong
Canada
khu
has
vực
played
và
an
trên thế giới.
active role in the
Là một quốc gia
Indo-Pacific
Thái Bình
region,
Dương,
whether by
Canada đóng vai trò
addressing
tích cực
peace
trong
and
khu vực,
security issues,
dù là về
advancing
hòa bình,
economic
an ninh, thúc
cooperation,
đẩy hợp tác kinh
or
tế,
assisting with
hay là
humanitarian
hỗ
and
trợ nỗ lực
development efforts.
phát triển và
Canada has
đạo.
been committed
Chúng tôi
to strengthening
luôn
relationship
cam kết
between
để
our
thắt chặt quan
peoples
hệ
and our
giữa nhân
nations.
dân các nước chúng ta
It is why Canada remains
và
deeply
giữa các
committed to
quốc gia.
forging closer cooperation with ASEAN.
Và điều này đặc biệt đúng tại
It's
khu vực
why
Đông
we
Nam
have been
Á.
a dialogue
Trong
partner
khu
for
vực
more than 4
Canada
decades,
càng duy trì cam kết
with
sâu
Canadian
sắc
diplomatic
với
representation
việc
in
thúc đẩy hợp
all
tác chặt chẽ
10
với ASEAN,
ASEAN member
vì chúng tôi đã
states.
là đối tác đối thoại
We're also committed to
trong suốt hơn
expanding
4
our
thập kỷ
defense
qua.
representation.
Chúng
And
tôi
so
cũng
this
đang mở
month, we
rộng đại
officially
diện quốc
opened
phòng của
our
mình
new defense
với
attaché
văn
office
phòng
in
tùy
Vietnam.
viên quốc phòng đầu tiên tại Việt
And as
Nam.
we grow our defense ties, Canadian trade and
Đầu
investment
tư và thương
in the
mại của
region is
Canada trong khu
rapidly
vực
growing
đang tăng lên nhanh chóng trên nhiều lĩnh
across
vực,
multiple sectors
trong
in
nhiều lĩnh
areas
vực
like
như
aviation,
là hàng không,
telecommunications,
công
and
nghệ viễn thông,
agri-food,
nông
just to
sản
name a few.
và thực phẩm.
This mutually beneficial trade generates billions of dollars
Cái lợi
each
thế
year
thương
for
mại như vậy
ASEAN
mang lại
countries
tỷ đô la mỗi
and
năm cho
Canada
các nước
alike.
ASEAN cũng như là Canada.
And we remain ready
Và
and
chúng tôi sẵn
eager to
sàng
expand
và
our
mong muốn
role
mở rộng vai trò
and
của
deepen
mình,
our
làm
relationship with
sâu sắc
ASEAN
thêm quan hệ
and
của
its
chúng tôi
member
với ASEAN và các
nations.
nước thành viên.
ASEAN is a testament
ASEAN chính
to
là minh chứng cho
cooperation
quan
and
hệ
mutual
hợp tác
respect between
và
nations
sự
in the
thuận
region.
giữa các quốc gia trong
A
khu vực.
strong
Cấu trúc đa phương
multilateral architecture
rất là
creates a
mạnh mẽ
whole
của
that
ASEAN
is far greater than
tạo
the
ra một
sum
khối
of
tổng
its
thể
parts.
lớn hơn so với từng
All
quốc
of
gia
us
riêng
here
lẻ.
understand there is a
Ta đều hiểu
significant
rằng
power in working together
việc hợp tác cùng
to
nhau
promote
mang lại
global
một sức mạnh
security,
lớn lao để thúc đẩy an
stability,
ninh, ổn
and
định
prosperity.
và thịnh vượng của toàn cầu.
Multilateralism
Chúng
is a framework that affords all of us the fortitude and flexibility to face our common challenges head on. That's why we stand united with you in upholding and defending the rules-based international order. All nations must come together to ensure that our global commons remains free and safe and benefit all of us. And one of the key pillars of our global framework is international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. For nearly 40 years, UNCLOS has helped us maintain freedom of navigation and other navigational rights, while respecting the rights and jurisdiction of coastal states. The success of UNCLOS underscores the importance of maintaining and respecting international law. All of our countries benefit by respecting international law, including, as contained in UNCLOS, we call on all nations to comply with the convention. As you know, approximately 90% of the world's trade travels by sea, with 1/3 passing through the South China Sea, or the East Sea as it is known in Vietnam. So of course, Canada remains concerned by the tensions associated with territorial and maritime disputes in the region. Canada opposes unilateral actions that escalates regional tensions and undermines stability in the South China Sea. We oppose the threat or use of force, large-scale land reclamation, building outposts on disputed features and using them for military purposes. Canada supports lawful commerce, freedom of navigation, and freedom of oversight in accordance with international law. We continue to urge all parties to live up to previous commitments, including the commitment to demilitarize disputed features and commitments made in the 2002 Declaration of Conduct for the parties in the South China Sea. We expect that any future code of conduct will be rooted in international law, and that it will not affect the rights of third parties. We also call on all states to refrain from taking actions that could put at risk the lives and security of fishers in the region. We will continue to work with close allies to foster dialogue and cooperation based on mutual respect between nations, because Canada favors a multilateral approach to problem solving. Across a range of issues, Canada has demonstrated a strong record of effectively convening nations, of bringing them together to discuss difficult challenges and achieving positive results. That includes addressing defense and security challenges facing the international community and the region. For example, in 2018, we co-hosted 20 foreign ministers and representatives in Vancouver, British Columbia, to develop a clear strategy on North Korea and strengthen the sanctions regime. We believe that a diplomatic solution to the instability on the Korean Peninsula is the best way forward. In the face of aggressive actions, the international community responded with a unified approach. And as part of this effort, Canada launched Operation Neon. Currently, approximately 240 Canadian crew members of HMCS Winnipeg and a Cyclone maritime helicopter are deployed in Operation Neon, monitoring attempts to evade United Nations Security Council sanctions on North Korea. They are assisted by a CP-140 Aurora Maritime Patrol Detachment based out of Japan. Our personnel are working with our international partners to identify and share information on suspected evasion activities like ship-to-ship fuel transfers. We also have military personnel deployed at the United Nations Command, where Canada's Lieutenant General Wainier recently held the position of Deputy Commander. As such, Canada has assumed greater leadership and responsibility in the region. And as Canada's Minister of National Defense, I'm proud of the important collaboration between the Canadian Armed Forces and our regional partners and allies. Our defense policy, Strong, Secure, and Engaged, acknowledges the importance of the Indo-Pacific to Canadian security and prosperity. It reinforces Canada's commitment to being a reliable partner in the region through consistent engagement and strong partnerships with like-minded nations. We have conducted humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations, and we have stepped up our contributions to initiatives that advance peace and security across the region, initiatives that promote cooperation, multilateralism, and the respect of international law. Some of those initiatives include the port visits and engagements conducted by the Royal Canadian Navy with allies and partners, as well as transits in the region. And recently, HMCS Winnipeg sailed to the East China Sea through the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait.
Và eo biển Đài
And
Loan.
Canada fully respects and supports international law, including the rights of navigation and the rights and jurisdiction of coastal states.
Quyền tài phán của các quốc gia ven biển.
Beyond our work with navies around the region, Canada has also been collaborating with partners for decades through training and capacity building programs. For example, we provide staff courses, peace support, and language training for countries around the world. A dozen member states from the Indo-Pacific region are currently participating in our military training cooperation program, building more effective militaries and partnerships. And to date, more than 3,500 personnel have participated in this program. And Canada's counterterrorism capacity building program provides counterterrorism training, equipment, and technical assistance to ASEAN members. For example, we trained over 900 regional law enforcement officers through our partnership with Indonesia and the Philippines. And our capacity building partnerships with Malaysia has helped first responders better prepare for terrorist attacks. Through our training and capacity building programs, our military personnel have had the opportunity to work with members of allied and partner nations, learning from each other and developing new skills. So Canada will continue to maintain its defense presence in the region. We will work with our trusted allies and like-minded partners to uphold the rules-based international order in the Indo-Pacific region, including in Southeast Asia and around the world. And if called upon, we are willing to do more. We will always look for ways to work together to advance our common interests for peace and security. And we remain eager to share knowledge and learn from our allies and partners in the region. And we welcome new collaborations and ways of working together. Conferences like this one are so important because they foster productive dialogue and bring together diverse and valuable perspectives. And they promote coordinated and multilateral approaches to problem solving. So I wish you well in your upcoming discussions. I hope they are productive and help unlock solutions to some of our most pressing challenges. Thank you so much. Bon appetit.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Harjit Sajjan, Minister of National Defense of Canada, for your statement. We would like to wish Canada well. We would like to wish that Canada interaction with this region, including with ASEAN, is going to broaden and deepen in the time to come. And we wish that we will soon receive you in this region and that you can make a direct speech and not through teleconferences like this. Once again, on behalf of the organizers, I'd like to convey our deepest gratitude to you for joining us and for delivering your keynote. Thank you very much, Your Honorable.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the working part of the welcoming dinner tonight. And now, please enjoy to the max the Vietnamese cuisine that we are going to offer you. Enjoy your evening.
Món ăn đặc sản của Việt Nam. Xin mời. Hết rồi. Xem nó cân. Mình thấy bảo là chỉ cần cabin thế này thôi.